and welcome to Darvanalee Design Studio. My name's Nicole Reed and today is Tips and Tricks Tuesday. In this video, we're going to be focusing on our Scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now this seam allowance seems to elude a lot of people. It's a little bit tricky and some just don't even know how to set it up. So in this step-by-step instruction tutorial, I'm going to take you through those steps and help you set up your Scant 1/4 inch. This is the way that I was taught how to do it. So let's get started. Okay, so today we're going to set up my vintage sewing machine for a Scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. So there are a couple of things that you're going to need today to get this done. You're going to need a scrap piece of fabric to test your seam. Okay, you'll need a pencil to mark a little spot. You'll need a ruler because this doesn't have a 1/4 inch foot on it, so I've got to measure the 1/4 inch and then adjust accordingly, and I can't move my needle on this particular machine. So the machine I'm using, which I'll just bring it back, is this gorgeous Singer one that I've had for a while now. I do a lot of my piecing on it these days. So that's the machine that we're going to set up today. So this is how I was taught to do it. Okay, so I'm not saying this is the absolute correct way to do it. It's just how I was taught to do it, and it's never failed me. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use washi tape. You can also use a magnetic seam guide. I don't like this on my vintage machine because I'm scared that it's going to scratch it and whatnot, but you can use one of these, and I'll put a link down below this video of where you can get them. They're great, like they work perfectly, there's nothing wrong with them. I just choose to use washi tape on my vintage machine because it's I feel that it's not going to scratch it or damage the machine in any way. So okay, so in that saying that, if you've got a magnetic guide, by all means grab that and you can do exactly what I'm doing, except I'm using washi tape. And I've just got this little grey tape. Basically, I've had it for a while now. It just sits in my sewing machine, and when I need to replace it, I've got it there and I can just replace it. Okay, so first of all, you're going to grab your ruler. All right, and you're going to make sure that your machine's all threaded up and it's stitching okay and all the rest of it before you start. You're going to find your 1/4 inch mark, and on this particular ruler, that's that first black line, that thick black line there, and you're going to line it up with the needle. Now, the needle is up at the moment, but I'm going to bring that down, okay, and onto the line. I'm not going to push the needle into the ruler or anything like that. I'm just going to sit it on top, so I know that is where my 1/4 inch is. Now you can put your ruler in a little bit further if it's quite a long one, and you can line it up that way, and it might make it a bit easier for you. Okay, and you just put the needle down on the line, and then you grab a piece of washi tape, and I usually grab probably about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of washi tape, and you just snip that off, and then you stick that right alongside your ruler. Okay, so that is your 1/4 inch there, and you just make sure that it's lining up so that you can see there that's a little bit crooked. So I'll just bring that in a little bit and put it right up against the edge of the ruler without moving the ruler. Okay, so that's not going to be its permanent place. All right, so that is my 1/4 inch, my true 1/4 inch. So now what I want to do is make it a Scant 1/4 inch. So I'll take the ruler away, and what I do is I actually, just using the edge of my fabric, I put it to the edge of the tape. So you can see it's not over the tape like that, it's right to the edge. Okay, and I just hold my my cottons, and this is just my leader cloth that I use for my piecing. So I know that that's going to be a 1/4 inch, and I'll just sew that. And this is where you can make adjustments and whatnot. Okay, so we'll just take that out, trim off our threads, just pop that up there, grab our ruler, and we'll just check that that is actually a 1/4 inch. Let's do it so you can see it a bit better. So I'm just going to line the edge of the ruler up on the edge of the fabric, and you can see there, I'll just lift that up for you to see. You can see you can't see the black thread under that black line. So that's a true 1/4 inch. So now what we want to do is we actually, using this piece of fabric, grab our pencil or your pen, and you want a fine tip pen, and where you want your to get your 1/4 inch, and as I said, this is how I was taught to do it. Okay, so there's your true 1/4 inch where that black line is. We want to do it just beside it. So if you make a mark, you can see that I've just made a mark with the pencil beside it. So that's about a scant. Okay, so that's about a thread away from the actual true seam. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to line my needle up with that dot, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. I just want to go down into that dot. So you can see there that I need to now move this little piece of tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that off. And the beauty of washi tape is you can actually reuse it. So with my fabric there, I put my presser foot down so my fabric doesn't move. And that's when I usually sit something else at this end too, so I know it's nice and straight. Okay, and then I line my washi tape up with the edge of my fabric. And that's it. Voila, you have a scant 1/4 inch. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll actually take that piece out and I'll re-sew it, and I will show you how it, and you know, you've got to be careful when you're sewing too. You can't just go and let it guide through itself. You will need to you know, to have your hands on it and help it stay on that trajectory and make sure that you're sewing accurate and all the rest of it. So now I can just line that up. Okay, at the edge, I hold on to my, and you can see it is just going just beside that stitch there, which you can actually see that pretty good. So now I'll just give it a sew, and I'll probably sew crooked because I'm sewing around the camera. But what you want to do is keep the edge of your fabric right on the edge of that washi tape. Now you don't want the washi tape down here because it's too easy by the time you get up here to be squiff and going a bit crooked. So you want it up here. It's easily removed. If you find that you get a bit of gunk there, just get a little bit of goo away or something along those lines. I'll try and find the equivalent in the US. We use it's an orange, it's one we just get from the supermarket here, and it's an orange product. So yeah, so you can see there, now I'm just sewing right beside that, and my fabric is right on the edge of the first line I did. So there's the first line, the bottom one, and there's my second one. It's a little bit wobbly, but that was just through my sewing around the camera. But you can see that that's now a scant 1/4 inch seam allowance. So give that a go and see how you go with your piecing. I'm sure it's going to make a big difference to what you're doing. And if you're not sure, just keep referring back to this video. But as I said, that was the way I was taught, and it's never let me down yet. So I hope you're happy with that tip today. Okay, so that was our Tips and Tricks Tuesday tutorial today. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you did, give us a thumbs up down below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and leave a comment of any tips or tricks that you would like some help with.